I'm going to talk about 5 items that you need in your sewing stuff. Sewing Space. I'm glad that you're with me today. Now, for those of you guys who are looking for something for your Christmas list, I know Christmas isn't here yet. Maybe Santa Claus is bringing you a little extra something, which would be awesome. But there are 5 items that you will always need on hand. Now, one of these items is not necessarily a need, but kind of a want. But there are a couple of things that I'm going to talk about. So 2 rulers that you absolutely need and that I use on a pretty regular basis is my 24, hold it up here like this, can you see me? It's my 24 by 6 inch quilting ruler. This ruler is awesome for just about anything. It's in the quilting section, usually at wherever it is you buy your rulers at, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, wherever. But this is one of those rulers that I bought on a whim that I didn't think I would use very often, and I end up using it all the time. And it's awesome because it's big, it's flat, and it gives me the edges I need to use my rotary cutter with. The second ruler that I use more often than anything else is this flexible 18 by 2 inch ruler. This ruler is awesome because, there you go, this ruler right here has a 1/2 inch increment here at the top, and then it gives you 1/8 right down the grid. So you can do a 1/4 inch would be 2 squares, a 1/2 inch would be 4 squares, and then a full inch would be 8 squares. So I love this when I am measuring anything, and especially when I'm doing 1/4 inches. These are awesome, and it's flexible. I don't have to worry about breaking it if I decided to wave it around like I'm doing. And it's longer than 12 inches, which is awesome because usually you need a longer than 12 inch ruler. I'm just saying. So this one's going to sound kind of wonky because it's a requirement for your sewing machine. You have to have sewing machine needles. But instead of going to Joann's and buying one little pack of Schmetz needles or one little pack of Singer needles, they have the color barcodes. I mean, it's awesome if you do that. But if you look on Amazon, you can find organ needles, which are the needles that usually come with your sewing machines anyway. You can buy like 100 of them for $10 on Amazon. If you sew a lot, you're constantly going through needles, and that is an awesome deal. So sewing machine needles are awesome. They're a necessity. You have to have sharp needles when you sew, otherwise your thread gets all screwed up, you get knots, you have tension problems, and sometimes it's just the needle. All you have to do is change out the needle. One of my wish lists of something that you always need at Christmas time, or anytime you sew, would be your sewing machine needles. And one of the things I would recommend next is a self-healing cutting mat. Now, on the back of all my videos, you see my cutting back in the background because I do all my sewing on my cutting mat. I do all my cutting on my cutting mat. I do all my painting on my cutting mat. Usually my crafting is there on my cutting mat. It's my hold all, end all, be all. You see them on all my thumbnails because it's the background, because that's where I do all my work at, is on my cutting mat. I have a 23 by 36 cutting mat. It's Olfa. My husband bought it for me years and years ago, and it has been one of the best, well-loved, used items in my sewing gear. Item number 4, rotary cutters. Rotary cutters are one of those things that if you're quilting, all quilters need a rotary cutter. And you know, if you are a major quilter, you know rotary cutters are awesome, and it cuts down on so much time. Which is why I like using this particular cutter, because it has a grip handle here, but it also has a lock. See this red button right here? So this red button, you push it in, it unlocks it. And now you can use your rotary cutter. As soon as you're done, lock it, push the button up from the back, and it locks it in place so there's no accidents. Unless you're purposely cutting yourself or you're not paying attention, this is awesome because it has a lock. And there you go, and now it's locked up. Now, you will find cutters that are large like this and small like this. Let me tell you something, there's a trick to this, and I found this out the hard way and then the easy way. The larger blades are for cutting out long strips of fabric like quilts. The patches that you need for quilts, the strips that you need for quilts. If you are using a rotary cutter to cut out patterns, you want the smaller blade. The smaller blade will allow you to get around the curves. You're cutting out a pair of pants and you need to do a crotch or an arm hole or anything like that. The smaller blade will help you with that. You don't always have to have scissors. I usually use scissors. Sometimes I don't. It just depends on how I feel or if I even remember to use my rotary cutter. But small blades for pattern cutting or around curves. Large blades are for quilting, long strips, or long non-curves. Let's put it that way, just say non-curves. You don't want to use a large blade for non-curves, just straight lines. Small blades for curves, and there you go. Number 5. This is not a necessity. This is just kind of one of those things that you want, but I find that it has helped my sewing because it keeps my pins all together. And that is a magnetic pin cushion. Now, I got this years and years ago. I still use it. It sits over there by my ironing stations for when I need to keep my pins there. But you guys have seen, if you watched any of my videos, you see this one. And this is actually a screw and nut bolt holder that I got from Home Depot. It was about $6, $7, I think it was. But it's very large and it's a husky. And it has this huge magnet here on the back. And this is what I use. And I love this thing. I have this one and I have a smaller one that I keep over there by my cover stitch machine. And then I have my grab it here, which is my purple magnetic holder right here. I don't want any of my pins falling off. They're pretty secure. See, look, nothing. Oh, wait. Those weren't pins, those are beads I had in here. So there you have it. You have 5 items that everybody needs for their sewing gear. And if you manage to show this to anybody, share the video with your loved one or whoever plays Santa Claus in your life to be able to say, hey, you know, I don't have, here's a couple items that I don't have. I would really appreciate it if you get it for me. These are items that I find help me in my daily sewing routine. They keep me organized and they just generally improve my sewing. And I wanted to share these items with you. And there's certainly plenty of more out there, but these are kind of the things that I use on a regular basis. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. Yay, thumbs up. Give the video a thumbs up. Share if you could. And if you are not already subscribed, subscribe now. And remember, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday season, and I will see you in the next video.
Ba-da-ba-ba